One of the easiest ways to grow your wealth is to reduce any unnecessary spending and redirect those funds into your investments. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the 5 things that I've stopped paying for in order to save some more money, which I've then gone and put into my ISA, significantly increasing the total value of my portfolio. Cutting these things from my life has left me with much more money every month without having to sacrifice the quality of life. So let's get straight into number 1, which is technology. Now, I always loved technology. In fact, it was my passion for tech that led me on a path to become a software developer. When I was younger, I always wanted the latest iPhone. I always wanted the fastest gaming PC. And I always wanted the most fanciest expensive TV. But over time, I've come to realize that you don't necessarily need the latest and most expensive tech, particularly if the most you're going to be doing is browsing social media and watching YouTube videos. The rate at which technology comes out far exceeds our actual need to replace them. There's no reason for you to get the latest iPhone if you just got one 12 months ago. Regardless of this, we as consumers keep buying them. So what I try and do as a rule of thumb is when I'm about to buy a new device, I simply ask myself, do I really need it? Now, if my phone's broken or my laptop's gotten so slow, then yeah, that's a good enough reason to upgrade. But if my reason for buying it is simply because it's this shiny new toy I want to mess around with, then I'll give it a miss or wait for it to drop in price and buy it further down the line. Number 2 on the list is clothes, specifically fast fashion from cheaper websites, such as ASOS in particular. Now, it can be very easy to get into a habit of doing a regular online order and buying things that you genuinely don't need just because they seem so cheap. I did this for a period of time, and very quickly I found out that I ran out of space in my wardrobe. This prompted me to go through and have a massive clear out, which proved to be a pretty big eye-opener. I had so many clothes in there that still had tags that I would never wear, or clothes that were only ever worn a couple of times. All in all, it was completely unnecessary to have that many clothes. And while it may seem cheap, if you add up all the spending, it can add up to a fair chunk of money. I used Vinted to get rid of most of my unwanted clothes, and now I actively make sure my wardrobe is kept small and I don't spend money on clothes frivolously. It's not had any noticeable impact on my life, so I think that's a pretty easy one that you guys can follow as well. Next up on our list at number 3 is your car. Now, I do want to start this point off by saying everybody's circumstance is different, and for some people, in very specific cases, buying or leasing an expensive car can work out in their favour, as opposed to just getting a basic runaround. I will be going into detail on that in a future video, but for 90% of people, it can be very easy to fall into a trap of getting a fancy car and getting stuck with high monthly payments for years. A simple rule is, if you don't have the money, don't buy the car. Cars are depreciating assets, in that they won't ever go up in value, especially over 5+ years. We did see a spike in used car values due to COVID-19, but it's almost a false economy. If you sold your car and made a little bit of profit on it, that will get wiped out by the increase in price on the next car you buy. Since most cars drop in price substantially over 5 years, the last thing you want to do on top of that is take out a loan to finance the car, as you would then have to pay interest on top of the initial price, and by the time you paid the car off in full, its value is far lower than the amount that you've paid. Again, there are ways to maximize your money to pay as little as possible, but to keep it simple, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. The stress of high monthly payments isn't worth it for most people, and you can put that money into an asset that will generate more cash flow that will allow you to buy a car with much more ease further down the road. Number 4 on my list is food takeaway apps. Now, it would be very easy for me to say just avoid eating any takeout at all, cook your meals at home and prep them all in advance. But whilst that's the right thing to do if you're trying to save, there are some things that you will want to compromise on, and for me, food is one of them. So if you're like me and you enjoy eating out regularly, how can you reduce the amount of money you spend when ordering food? The answer is very easy. Don't use food delivery apps. Uber Eats, Deliveroo and Just Eat mark up every item of food that you order. So say you fancy a burger and chips, that's usually £5. On these apps, you'll be looking at around £7.50, a 50% increase. I've completely stopped using delivery apps, and since most food places allow you to order from them directly, I simply use these apps to browse the menu before giving the restaurant a call and placing my order. It saved me a decent sum and has really opened my eyes on just how much money you can waste paying for extra things in the name of convenience. Finally, at number 5 on my list is reducing my overall monthly outgoings. This has been a huge one for me and made a massive difference in how much I spend. On the 1st of every month, I would have around 6 different payments go out on my account. This would mean that I would get paid and a chunk of my salary would immediately disappear. I took a look at these payments to see what I could reduce. The 2 biggest ones that stood out to me were my internet and phone bill. I had been with EE for about 10 years on a SIM-only deal, and over the years the price has climbed up. And what started as a cheap SIM-only deal for under £10 a month was now £30 a month. Since I was out of contract, I went directly to Uswitch and switched to a new carrier, ID Mobile, for a new SIM-only deal of only £8 a month. I also had a similar situation with my Virgin Media internet. What was originally £45 a month went up to £69 a month. I managed to haggle them back down to £48 a month, which isn't bad, considering I am on the fastest internet package. Overall, taking control of my outgoings every month has allowed me to save more money. Companies tend to take advantage of customers who are out of contract, and simply looking for better deals can save you a large amount over 12 months. So there you have it. These are the 5 things that I've stopped spending my money on. By reducing my spending in these areas, I haven't felt any FOMO or lost any joy. Instead, I've started to build up good habits that have allowed me to invest more money into my ISA. It's the little things that really add up, but if you were to make these small, almost inconsequential changes, it will always allow you to put more money towards your goals, whether it's an investment or a business opportunity that could build you a life-changing amount of wealth. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video.